If your AC is blowing hot air, let O'Reilly Auto Parts help bring back the cool this summer. While you may need to eventually service your AC unit, get immediate relief with Interdynamics Arctic Freeze R134A refrigerant with leak sealer for $32.99. O'Reilly Auto Parts, better prices every day. Limits apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Blog Talk Radio.
Hi folks, this is Mark Wilmot, singer-songwriter of the Redstone Ramblers, owner of Trademark Instrument Repair, and proud supporter of the Paige Roberts Show on Intercom Radio. Do you want that old acoustic to play like butter again? You want to get that Strat you got from your dad hot-rodded? Or maybe you want to put a pickup in your banjo? You can contact me for all your TLC. I'll be there for your instrument when it needs me. You can check me out at Trademark Instrument Repair on Facebook. Thanks again for listening, and remember, support your local songwriter.
and I know He watches me, and I sing because I'm happy.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Paige Roberts Show. It is Monday, August 13th, 2018. I'm excited about tonight. I have featured artist Kathy Nicholson with me, and that was her singing His Eye is on a Sparrow. All I can say is awesome.
Well, thank you, Paige. I really do appreciate that. Song written back in 1906.
Yes, it's an oldie and a goodie.
And it's the only song on my CD that I didn't write. So I'm excited that a lot of folks are responding to that song, and one from many, many years ago before copyright existed, quite honestly. So it's considered a public domain song.
All right. Well, I was listening. Well, I've been listening to it a lot. I know you have a lot of your songs over on your Reverb Nation site, so I have really been getting to know your songs. But
well, I hope you liked them. It's been a lifetime in the making.
I know. That's what I was going to say. You have really been working hard on this thing. I know for at least a year.
It did, about a year ago, I began to think to myself, there's a lot. I had written this collection of songs some 3 or 4 years ago, actually even longer than that, some of them. And I thought, the songs and the story that goes along with it, it's time for me to put it into a form that can travel beyond my own voice, the sound of my voice, and go to places I can't go. And that's why I decided to bite the bullet and sink some money into this production.
Well, you're doing it. Like I said, I have been listening to them, since you put it out there, and I'm like, wow, she's got it.
Oh, thank you, girl. I've been looking forward to talking with you about this project. We planned this a good while back, and, of course, we became acquainted, I guess it's been over a year ago, through social media. And I tell you, it is really weird, though. I'm going to tell you, super weird to be on the air playing everybody else's songs for years on end and then finally sticking your own project. That is a weird, weird feeling.
I know. And, I think every day I'm like, Nancy Schaefer, bless her heart, and she's still putting people together. You know what?
Isn't that right?
I said we don't meet by accident.
That's right, and my love to her family. She made an indelible mark on my life. For those of you who may not know what this connection is, former Senator Nancy Schaefer, we worked together at WREF, which is a Christian radio station, and I was one of her sound engineers for many years, when she did a program there on 90.9 FM, and I started following her and loving what she stood for, and then, of course, her untimely death put an end to her work here on earth, but like you say, Paige, she's still working eternally. She's still doing her time up there in heaven, bringing people together that are making a difference. She
was a gem. I've got chill bumps now. So I know you hear. But
yeah, absolutely. I'll never forget having Nancy on my cooking show. I had a cooking show that was in the local area in the 7-county region surrounding where I live. It was called Southern Hospitality. And I had Nancy on my cooking show. I still got an episode of that show that I look at from time to time and think of her. The ultimate example of Southern grace was Nancy Schaefer.
Yes, you hit the nail on the head. Family values, she was all about. And, you know, she just helped a lot of people in her path. She's greatly missed. I do know that. So, but, well.
And I also got a chance to get to know her daughter and son-in-law. They were on my cooking show as well back when they had the Isabel's restaurant up in, I guess that was Tallulah Falls.
Yes, it was. But you know, she was like a mother figure, and I talked to her quite a bit on the phone. And you know, after that, it's like I think about her all the time, just little things here and there, you know. But
I don't know how in the world she kept that hair looking as good as it looked all the time. All the time. I just like she woke up like that, you know. Beautiful woman.
Immaculate. She is.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people out there now that really, even now, that follow her. Just a Christian woman, and you know, and that's the thing. And just like you, and just like I myself, you know, when you walk in the light of God, it shows. You know.
I think we can look at Nancy's story, and when people begin to hear a little bit of mine, they can understand that just because you love God and you work diligently to become more like Him, it doesn't mean you're immune from trouble or even tragedy.
Right.
Nancy's story had tragedy that really marked the end of her story here on earth, and I've been through things that I never thought I'd face, things that I thought I would never be able to overcome. But God. God is the strength of my heart. He's the strength of my heart. And the joy of the Lord is what gives me the strength that I need in my heart. And that's the CD that I just have released on August the 7th is a testimony of that. It represents an 8-song collection that represents a journey that started very minimal 4 years ago. I think we can go back further in my life than that, but 4 years ago I had a beautiful, vibrant 22-year-old daughter who had the personality to match her mom's. She was an outgoing and beautiful young woman, already successful. She was making more money at 22 than I was making in my 40-somethings. And she became ill with a scratch from her leg that she caught MRSA, or she had an MRSA infection on her leg, and it was misdiagnosed. And after 5 times of being misdiagnosed, she became septically ill and triggered what they call acute respiratory distress syndrome in her lungs. And Hannah passed away 69 days later with a double lung failure and heart failure as a result of the damage that the MRSA did in an otherwise vibrant young woman. So when that occurred, and throughout that process, Paige, I found a walk with God I'd never known before. I found a friend who does stick closer than a brother.
I couldn't imagine going through that, but yeah, you know, God has a plan. We don't know what that plan is, and I don't think I would want to know what that plan is until it is there upon us. And sometimes I still don't really know, you know. But that, you know, the faith in God is strong, and that's how I do my daily walk as well. And you about have to. I know that not everybody doesn't do that, but
we're in control, and that's probably one of the biggest deceptions that mankind believes, is that we're in control. The only thing we can control is who we put our trust in. There are many people in this world, you put your trust in them, they're going to let you down. I'm one of those people. I'm not a perfect person. At some point or another, I've let people down. But when we put our trust in God, He cannot fail. And that's probably one of the largest treasures and pieces of a gem, a piece of knowledge that I've gained through everything I've been through, is the understanding that I don't have to worry about being in control, because there's only so many things I can control. And ultimately, we're just one breath away from being in eternity. So we have to choose whom we're going to put our trust in.
That's right.
Throughout the process of my daughter becoming ill, and I was with her nonstop, with just long enough to be away from her to rest, so I could go back in there and be her caregiver during that time. And there were times when I had to say, God, I can't do this without you. I'm not going to be able to continue to do this. Without fail, every single time, He gave me the strength to do it. Not only the strength, the knowledge I needed, and the stamina. I'm not a nurse. I have a really queasy stomach otherwise. But during my daughter's sickness, I was able to do things that in my humanity, there's no way I could have done it without Him, apart from God.
I truly believe that. It's just surreal. But what's awesome is when you can see what He is telling you and that you can do those things through Him. I've just found that out recently myself, just on my daily, activities around home. It's just surreal.
It is. And when you build up to the things in life, God, He never throws on us more than we can handle, unless we're doing it apart from Him. So if He's put a task at our hands, He knows that between the two of us, between us and Him, we got it. We may not survive tragedy in this life. Hannah went on to be with the Lord October the 19th, 2014. She didn't survive this life, but eternally she's there. And God let me know within a couple years of her passing that, you know what, I kept you here and I took her, and there's a reason for that. It's not an accident, Kathy. I've left you here to do a work I designed you to do. And allowing myself to grieve my daughter, it took some time, but this October will be 4 years since she passed away. And I began to ask God recently, before I started this project, God, are you finished with me in this area? And through a series of events, He let me know He wasn't, without emphatically let me know I'm not finished with you, and I desire for you to step up and step out, and I have a work for you to do because of what you faced.
And that's what's so amazing. Even in the past where I've had things, and that's what I become to think too, during times like that, is that, and when you look back, you say, then you're like, okay, I see, and it's like your eyes are finally open and your heart is open as well. So, yeah, it's just awesome. And I just don't know how people could, and I'm not going to knock anybody if they don't believe in Christ or whatever, that's their belief. But I couldn't do it without it. I know that. I know that for sure.
I've heard this said a long time ago. There's no atheist in the trenches. And when it comes down to it, many people who philosophize and theorize whether there be a God or not, ultimately when they go on to face challenges that are beyond their own human control, eventually they'll come to the knowledge of, you know what, there is a grand engineer in heaven. There is this God that I have not acknowledged. He does exist because the things that I'm going through are large within my own hands. So I don't knock anyone for not believing either. I might question them. Why not?
All right.
You know? I can't imagine going through this life without the saving knowledge of a personal Savior, a real God who I have felt and who has made himself manifest to me numerous times. If it hadn't been for God, there's no way I could survive. Because, Paige, here's the thing. Long before Hannah became ill and passed away, about a year before that, I had another daughter who just made me a grandmother, by the way, to Arabella, who's 13 months old and the joy of my life. But Kara was involved. My 27-year-old daughter was involved in a terrible car accident and wrapped her daddy's truck around a tree and fractured her pelvis, broke her hip, damaged her shoulder and her knee. And for a year, Kara relied on me to take care of her. And literally within a week or two of Kara being able to walk again after having forming total hip replacement, she's got a titanium hip, then her sister became ill. So here we got one child that nearly died from major damage to her body, and a child who didn't survive from what started as a scratch on her leg. So don't tell me that God doesn't keep us here until it's our time. There's no way we can leave before our time, and there's no way we can overstay. There's a time and a season and a place for everything under heaven. And I know for sure, without a doubt now, that my daughter Hannah fulfilled every single day on this earth she was meant to live.
That's true. That's what I try to tell people too. And you know, we don't know when our last day is here. I think about it every time I go out the door. I'm like, I could not come back, you know. But we have to just keep doing what He showed us to do and hope for the best and pray that everything works out. But, you know, another thing, like we were talking, walking in faith is a major part of anyone's life. So, yeah. Now, I've been lost a time or two, you know, in the midst of it all.
Well, I've taken a couple of roads, and I wasn't lost. I went on them intentionally and then had to say, what in the world was I thinking? You know, I think we all get in our own little journey and forget about the path that God has laid out before us, because the Scripture even says it, that there's this big, bright, you know, broad path that looks so enticing. But then there is a way that's a narrow way, and that's the way we're supposed to walk. And I'll be honest with you, there's sometimes I don't want to walk on a tightrope that life presents to me. I want that big, wide path instead of that little narrow tightrope that we seem to walk sometimes. But the thing is, even when we're on a tightrope, if we've got Jesus as our partner, there is no way we can fail. So we do have that assurance.
We do.
Otherwise, if we go our own way, you know, we can trip over a little pebble and bust our head just from a little pebble. Forget the boulder that we're worried about encountering.
Yeah. Just over the course of the past, I'd say last year and coming on into this year, I find myself going into same situations, and I'm like, and I talk all the time to God. It's not in a, I mean, like He's my friend, like He's here standing in front of me. And I know people probably think,
oh no,
you know,
girl, I'm with you. Sometimes I talk to God and I say, what are you thinking, God? Because I certainly can't get it. I don't know where you're coming from right now.
That's the way I am. And I'm like, I said, and I'll be sitting here, I'm like, I'll roll my eyes, and I'm like, I know. So now what, you know?
You know, that eye rolling that we do, I know aggravates the Lord because he can see the finished work. He can see the beautiful tapestry that each little thread that he is weaving is going to make of our lives. But I'm standing there going, are you serious? How in the world is this going to make my picture look beautiful? I'm not getting it, God.
Right.
And we're like teenagers to him. He's like, good grief, has she still not learned to trust me? I think about the disciples when they were walking with Jesus, and they've been walking with him. And he says, have you been so long with me that you didn't even recognize the Son of God that was here with we do that way. We do that way with God. But he is such a patient and loving God. He doesn't give up on us. And thank God for that his mercies are new every day.
That one, I tell you what, I'll go, I'm sure he's up there banging his head against the wall, and she's at it again, knowing that I'm going to be there. You know? But I'll be like, I would actually even be begging sometimes. I'm like, please help me this time, and I won't go back.
Yeah. But can you think about some of the prayers that we've asked of God that he didn't answer the way we wanted? And you look back 10, 15, 20, 30 years, and you think, good grief, I'm so glad God said no to that. That was an unanswered prayer. I think about when I was a junior in high school, and the guy I was dating broke up with me, and I was devastated. At that point, I had a steady relationship with God that was more serious than most people my age at that time. And I remember crying out to God, but God, I love him, and please, Lord, But now look back, and nothing to say anything negative about the guy, but I look back and think, man, if I had wound up with that man, what I would have missed that God had in store for me, we were not compatible, and it would have been a disaster. And I thank God for that unanswered prayer. I think it's Garth Brooks that has a song, I thank God for unanswered prayers.
He does. But I asked, I specifically asked him for something. It's been a few months back, and it was, now he's my ex, and I was like, it was every day. I'm like, I wish he was gone. And then it was like the next 2 days he was up and gone, and I was like, now wait a minute. I'm like, not like that.
Oh, yeah, sometimes God will even give us what we ask for, and we'll look back and think, I'm gonna be careful how I pray from now on.
Well, he says, and I learned this along the way in teaching us how to pray. I'm like, okay, next time I'm going to be really specific.
You better be specific how you pray and ask God, because sometimes he just gets a kick out of giving us exactly what we ask for.
That's what I said, too. I'm like, oh, you're showing me now. I'm like, okay. But I see you and I hear you. But it's also, I've been talking to my daughter about things like that, too, and she can't understand a lot of things. So I think it's great when you can work together with your family and learning about these things, too. So that they, too, are, searching for that light and wanting to walk. But,
I'm finding more and more that the generation that is growing up right now are looking for something real, something authentic. Yeah. They're not just looking for materialism. They've seen that it didn't make their parents happy. It didn't make marriages last. And I'm not putting down on those whose marriages didn't last. I have an ex-husband too. But we're looking for something substantial and not something so much that's a big show. We're looking for something legitimate. And if they look, And it says clearly in the New Testament, if you seek, you're going to find. If you knock, the door is going to be open unto you. And all we have to do is seek him and knock on those doors that we feel like God has placed us before, and he says he'll answer. And so that's my encouragement for the younger generation. The songs that I have on this CD, I've been very surprised at some of the reviews that have come back. The young people are attracted to them. And one of the songs that's on the CD, I believe it's number 6, is Doing All I Know to Do. Doing all I know to do. Many times we don't have all the answers. I wish we did. But we do what we know to do, and we find out what to do by getting in God's Word. And then when we've been in his Word, there's a scripture that says, if you'll call unto me, I will hear you. I will answer you, he says, and I will show you things you do not know. Our God is a supernatural God, and if we'll just do what we know to do, he will take care of the rest. He says in Matthew, seek you first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these other things will be added to you. That's a great promise to know. If we just seek God first, anything and everything else we need, he will add to us.
And everything will just fall into place. And I've been noticing that a lot here lately, too. Now, you have a song on here. I know we were trying to play that at the beginning. Tell My Heart I Said Hello. Do you want to talk about that song? Then we can play it, and then we can come right back.
Yes, that song, Doing All I Know to Do, I wrote that. That's one of the most recent songs that I've written, and I was going through a really trying time watching my marriage of 28 years fail. I don't want to get into the details of why it failed, but it did. And to be quite honest, there's a statistic out that is, it is very, it's hard to believe, but it's true. 80% to 90% of parents who lose the children, their marriages fail. And it's because losing a child is so tragic to deal with, and here you have two people hit with the same tragedy, and they may deal with it in a different way, but there's such a void there that neither one of you can feel apart from God. Now, I believe God is not only the catalyst that brings a marriage together. He can keep it together, but both parties have to look to him and turn to him. This song that I wrote, it was written at a time where I was really just paralyzed with heartache, and I didn't know which way to turn, left or right. I knew I couldn't stay in the marriage, and I knew that that I couldn't go back, but I didn't seem to be able to go forward. Now, I'm happy to tell you since that time that God has given me direction and put people in my life that are positive influence, and my heart seems to be making progress and going forward in life. And there's an immeasurable joy that I'm experiencing in the new life that God is helping me begin again. But this song, I think a lot of people can relate to it because I think many people have been there to where you're like, man, I knew I had to go on, but boy, it's hard to let go.
Well, let's play Tell My Heart I Said Hello and hang on the line, and we'll come right back.
All right, sounds good, Miss Page.
All right, here we go.
Lifetime full of memories can rip a heart in half. It's just another moment to wonder where you're at. Wondering just when you'll see we could have made it last. You had my heart, still yours to hold. Gave it willingly to you. There's no use
You are listening to the Paige Roberts Show on Intercom Radio Network. We are broadcasting live off of Blog Talk Radio. Our guest call-in number is 646-668-8941. My featured artist tonight is Kathy Nicholson, and she has released her new CD, Traveling On, and we are really liking it, and they are playing her songs. Now, Kathy is the WCON 99.3 FM. Do you have any shout-outs, Kathy, you would like to give us a shout-out?
Oh, yeah, I definitely want to shout out to all of my listeners on 99.3 FM. And if you're not a listener of WCON, I want to encourage you to find us on TuneIn Radio, or you can listen online at WCONFM.com. And all my Facebook followers and Instagram followers and Twitter followers, man, what a big role that social media has played in where I am today. I've had such a following through the social media platform that has really made a huge difference. Paige, I do want to tell you this. Because of my daughter's death, there was a bill passed in Georgia that has enlarged the donor list here in Georgia by multiple hundreds of thousands of people through a bill that was passed through the House legislature, the state legislature here, and I want to send a shout-out to Terry Rogers, who put that bill together along with some other folks in state legislature. But it doesn't bring my daughter back, but oh, how beautiful it was to meet the first person who, because of Hannah's Law, received organs to keep them alive here on this earth. What a moment that was, to meet that first person who received an organ because someone through Hannah's Law signed up to be an organ donor.
Awesome.
And then I want to do a shout-out to Steve Phillips, who's my awesome producer. He produced Traveling On and has just went way above anything I could think or imagine. Steve has a recording studio in Clarksville, Georgia called Kilohertz Audio Recording, and he did a fantastic job for me.
Yes, he did. That's awesome. And it's just amazing that all the people, I never thought I wasn't doing radio when I met you, Kathy, but I never would thought I would be sitting in the radio seat, radio personality. But okay, I'm going with it, I guess.
Well, you're not the only person that's come across my path that ends up in radio, and it's not uncommon at all, Paige, and I'm excited to see that you found a niche. So congratulations on your show.
Well, thank you very much. Like I said, and I guess, by the way, we should mention we are doing we're doing a songwriting contest, and we're going through October. It might be longer. We may go through the first of the year, but I really got a big response out of it. It comes with a PR package, and the song, of course, will get, I call it PR'd. I know that's not a word, but it's a Paige word.
Yeah. Hey, Paige words work. You know, if I say it, then it's a word. So, you know, I got this thing I do. I don't know if a lot of people have heard of it, but I got this thing I do. It's called Whatever I Want.
Right. Yes, ma'am.
After 40-something years, I've just decided, let's just do it Kathy's way, because, you spend a lot of your life trying to be like other people, and it's not bad to follow an example and have role models. But at the end of the day, you got to be yourself.
Exactly. And, well, you're going to have people that don't like you, and that's okay, too. I mean, I don't hate, or I try not to anyway. Is it sometimes hard not to hate? I don't know.
It is. Those feelings are natural. And for some of the critics that I have, I thank them when they mean well. Constructive criticism can be productive. But I tell you this much. I heard about a ball player one time who was going through a bad slump. He'd been a tremendous baseball player, went through a terrible slump when he wasn't doing so well. Every time he went out to hit the ball, the crowd that used to cheer would now boo him. And they finally asked him, doesn't that discourage you? And he says, not at all. He said, the crowds won't bother booing a bum. So sometimes we go through times when we're not liked and we get a criticism. But I look at it this way. If there's critics, there must be something worth criticizing.
All right. Well, that's a good way to look at it. I'll have to keep that in mind. Let's give a shout-out to Phil Crans. He is host at the Black Dog Morning Show on WAAK 94.7 FM, and I think that's Ringgold, Georgia. We have a lot of friends down in Ringgold. Who else do I? Oh, one other. I know I have Gary Boggs. I think you might know Gary Boggs. He is actually in Maryland, I believe, in the mountains of Maryland. So they're regulars. They're regulars and they listen, so we appreciate our regulars.
I'd like to give a shout out to my son, Andrew Nicholson. He is actually at WCON right now. My 22-year-old son ended up becoming just like his mama, and he's a radio personality. And Andrew actually plays the guitar on the title cut of my CD, Traveling On. The title cuts Keep Traveling On, and Andrew actually plays the guitar for me on that song.
Awesome. I'm learning, Kathy. I've had a guitar now for about 6 months, and I finally gotten to where I can strum it a little bit.
Well, good for you. I bought me one, but my nails are too long, and I'm just not willing to cut them.
And you don't want to part with them. Well, I picked it up one time, but I was. Well, I do piano too, and I don't know. You know, I play piano for the church, so I have to keep mine pretty much trimmed down. But I'm learning. I'm working on it. I'm not ready. I'm not concert ready, but not yet.
Well, it depends on the audience, Paige. You might be.
Right, that's true. They would probably like it even so, Kathy. I mean, I have a very forgiving following. They all support, you know, all the follow. Well, you know, he says, and I say, put yourself in with like-minded people that will boost you up. You know. And that's basically what I've done. And so I have a lot of friends that are there that anytime they just boost me up. And, you know, I don't know how better else to say it. But since I know that, you know.
I don't have time for negativity. Now I have time for honesty. Now, I need friends who are going to be honest with me. But I don't have time for negativity. You know, you can tell somebody, you know, that's not the best looking dress I've ever seen you wear. That color is great on you, but you may want to rethink that dress. And then you got friends who are jealous and will find anything they can, or people that say that you're friends that are just looking for a reason to put you down because they believe they can lift themselves up. It never works. When you put other people down, you don't get to climb on top of them. You just sink down further and further by trying to stand on somebody else and build a platform on top of what you think is wrong with them. But if you'll start coming alongside people that you begin to look for the good in them and you begin to invest in that good, you know what's going to happen? Good things are going to happen to you while you're worrying about taking care of other people and being kind to everybody else. The kindness comes back. I'm living proof of it.
Yes, I am. And that's what I always say, and I post it religiously. I'm like, just plain and simple. You know, say it all the time, and I think
Paige? You still there, girl? I think I've lost you.
And that is the power of technology.
Yeah, there you go.
I am back.
Okay.
I dropped signal, and I usually have on my headsets, and that didn't work. So here I am. But what I was saying before I got cut off is, Kathy, do you have any other projects that you might be working on, or you think you're going to do more with your music?
Oh, absolutely. I've already made some commitments and agreements to work with several other songwriters, including Stephen Phillips. I've been talking with Larry Scroggs about doing a songwriting round with him, and that's one of the artists that's going to be at the album release party I've got scheduled for this Thursday night at Jaymore Farms in Alto, Georgia. The Larry Scroggs Band will be there. Steve Bryson's going to be there performing to help me celebrate this amazing project that I did not do alone. I didn't get to this point with this project unless I had people alongside me. So I'm really excited to have the Larry Scroggs Band there, also to have Steve Bryson. Philip John Brooks, who's traveled all over the world, is going to be there singing with me, and I've been in a musical relationship with him for over a decade now. And then I've also got the Bluegrass Youth All-Stars who are going to be there opening up the evening. Natalie Crawford, my cousin, she's an amazing vocalist and guitarist, and she's also one of our county commissioners here in the area where I live. She's going to be there. And then Caleb Davidson is part of the evening. So looking forward to all this music. It's going to be a fun night, Paige. If you can get the night off, you need to come and join me.
I might try that. I have to find my directions to Alto, Georgia.
Well, girl, we'll get you there. Honey, I can get lost in a big enough walk-in closet, but that GPS will do wonders for you.
Well, tell us where people can get your CD and where they can find you out on social media. And you can listen to Kathy in the mornings at WCON 99.3. I think she's from 6 a.m. till noon for the most part.
11.
Anyway.
6 a.m. until 11, and then, of course, I do a 12 o'clock news brief. That's probably why you think I'm there till noon. But they can find out all about me, the good, the bad, the ugly, if they just Google my name. I'm the number one Kathy Nicholson on Google. I'm not the one who's a polygamist, so don't click on that one. But you can, if you want to just kind of trim the Google experience down, you can go to KathyNicholson.com, and you can find out more about me, and all of my social media connections are right there. I would love to have more people following me on Facebook. I have so much fun. It's been part of my broadcast contract for years now to spend time on Facebook. I'm one of the few people who actually get paid to be on Facebook, but I certainly put in more hours than what I'm paid for.
Yes, and watch Kathy sometimes because she does her live, what do we call them, live shows? Or
I
live
go
talk.
Facebook Live. Yeah, a lot of people are just waiting on me to go live. That just kind of thrills my little heart. Never knew people would find my life so interesting, but they do, and that just thrills me because I get to do a lot of really cool things. Sometimes I can't even believe I ever get bored.
I know, I don't either. I don't have time. I haven't had time to get bored right now. I know tomorrow night we have Cameron Wilson, she's country, and she's coming on tomorrow night, same time, same place, 8 o'clock p.m. I love this gal. She's a youngin'. I think she's 17, but she's really going places, and she's been on my show before, and we look forward. She's got some new music out as well. But this has been fun, Kathy, and we need to do this again sometime.
Yes, it has been fun, and I want to encourage people if they want to come out Thursday night, it's free admission, and we're going to have some good food too. So, hey, Paige, thanks for doing what you do.
Well, you're quite welcome. Like I said, I don't know how I got here, but I guess I do know how I got here, but right? And you too, Kathy, you do a lot as well, so, I try to never meet a stranger because you just don't know about somebody. But
Yeah.
I'm the type of person that tries to lift somebody up because you don't know what somebody's going through, you know.
Hey, have we got time for one more song?
Yes, ma'am. And hopefully
I would
got
love
it.
for you to play See the Moon. I would love for you to play that song. And I think
love
that's
that
a great
song.
way for us to wrap it up. You can't always go by feelings, and this song pretty much talks about that.
I like that. I listened to that several times this week. But, yeah, I agree. So I think we're going to close out here, and I want to thank everybody for tuning in out there, and hopefully they heard us. If not,
I'm sure.
like I said, I'm sure, too. And we'll have Kathy's, I usually try to get YouTube back up, the shows put on YouTube when I can get to it. I'm backed up.
Well, I would love
It's
for you to send me the link for that one.
Yes, it's all good, though. We appreciate it, and, yeah, let's go out with See the Moon. I really love this, and go check out Kathy's CD.
KathyNicholson.com.
Yes, ma'am, and thank you again, Kathy, and we love you.
You too, Paige. Thank you so much. Big hugs, girl.
Big hugs to you, too, and everybody out there. See you back tomorrow night. Bye-bye, y'all. Bye, Kathy.
Bye, darling.
Hi, folks. This is Mark Wilmot, singer-songwriter of the Redstone Ramblers, owner of Trademark Instrument Repair, and proud supporter of the Paige Roberts Show on Intercom Radio. Do you want that old acoustic to play like butter again? You want to get that Strat you got from your dad hot-rodded? Or maybe you want to put a pickup in your banjo? You can contact me for all your TLC. I'll be there for your instrument when it needs me. You can check me out at Trademark Instrument Repair on Facebook. Thanks again for listening, and remember, support your local songwriter.
We're playing tunes that make you grin. Our music's better than it's ever been. So think of us when you need a show. We're at WIRN Intercom Radio.
Amazon has everything for back to school. Zebra lunchbox? Check. Cool Adidas gear like t-shirts, shoes, and backpacks? Check. Triceratops folders and pencils? Check. Laser Cat t-shirts? Check. Get your back-to-school shopping done now at Amazon.com/back-to-school and enjoy free shipping on millions of items. No need to leave your home or hassle with crowds. Amazon.com. No better place to get everything back to school from A to Z.
If your AC is blowing hot air, let O'Reilly Auto Parts help bring back the cool this summer. While you may need to eventually service your AC unit, get immediate relief with Interdynamics Arctic Freeze R134A refrigerant with leak sealer for $32.99. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better prices every day. Limit supply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.